Her name is Linda. She is 71 years old. She worked for 38 years. She never missed a mortgage payment. She raised 2 kids, put them through college, and arrived at retirement with what she thought was enough. $420,000 in savings, a paid-off house, Social Security coming in at $1,840 a month. She did everything she was supposed to do. Last Tuesday, Linda sat at her kitchen table with a calculator and a cup of coffee that had gone cold. She ran the numbers for the 4th time that week, and for the 4th time that week, the numbers said the same thing. At her current rate of spending, her savings will be gone by the time she is 83. She is expected to live to 87. 4 years. 4 years of nothing. No savings, no backup, just Social Security and whatever her kids can spare. Linda is not a cautionary tale about bad decisions. She is not a story about someone who is careless or irresponsible or financially reckless. Linda is what happens when you do everything right for a system that was quietly changed the rules while you were busy following them. In April 2026, Alliance Life surveyed thousands of Americans about their biggest fear. Not their biggest financial fear, their biggest fear, full stop. 67% said they were more afraid of running out of money than they were of dying. Let that land for a second. More afraid of an empty bank account than of death itself. More afraid of the slow drain than the sudden end. More afraid of being alive and broke than of not being alive at all. And here is the part that should make you stop whatever you are doing right now. Of those 67%, more than a third have taken absolutely no steps to fix it. They know the fear, they feel it, they carry it around every single day, and they are doing nothing. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, because nobody ever showed them what to actually do, because the system that was supposed to prepare them for retirement was redesigned 30 years ago, and nobody sent them the memo. That is what this video is about. Not the fear, the gap between the fear and the fix, and why most people never cross it. To understand why Linda is sitting at that kitchen table doing math she never wanted to do, you have to go back to 1978. In 1978, the United States government passed a small piece of tax legislation. It was buried in a larger bill. Nobody made speeches about it. Nobody called it a revolution. It was called Section 401k. For most of American history before that moment, if you worked for a company for 30 years, that company gave you a pension, a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. You showed up, you did the work, and in return, the company promised to take care of you after. It was called a defined benefit plan. The benefit was defined. The company carried the risk. You just had to survive long enough to collect. Section 401k changed that. Quietly, gradually, and then all at once. Over the next 2 decades, companies across America did the math. A pension meant they were on the hook forever. A 401k meant the employee carried the risk. The switch was not presented as a downgrade. It was presented as freedom, flexibility. You control your own retirement now. What they did not tell you is that controlling your own retirement requires knowledge that nobody was going to teach you, requires discipline that the consumer economy was actively working against, requires decisions that most people were completely unprepared for. The pension disappeared. The knowledge never arrived. Today, only 14% of Gen X workers have a traditional pension. Compare that to 56% of baby boomers. Same country, same work ethic, completely different financial infrastructure. Linda's parents retired with a pension. Linda retired with a 401k she managed herself, with advice she got from a coworker, in a system she was never formally taught to navigate. That is not a personal failure. That is a generation that was handed a new game without a rulebook and then blamed for not winning. Now, here is what I want you to understand before we go any further. This video is not about Linda being a victim, and it is not about blaming a system and walking away feeling hopeless. This video is about the specific, concrete gaps between where most people are and where they need to be, and more importantly, what actually closes those gaps. Because the same study that found 67% of Americans fear running out of money also found that people who have a written financial plan are dramatically more confident, more prepared, and statistically far less likely to run out. The plan is not complicated. The plan is just absent. For 48% of Americans, there is no plan at all. Let's fix that right now in this video. Ask most people how much they need to retire, and they will give you a round number, $1 million, $2 million, whatever feels large enough to feel safe. The 2026 Northwestern Mutual study found that Americans now believe they need $1.46 million to retire comfortably. That number went up from $1.26 million just last year. And yet, almost half of Americans say they do not expect to be financially prepared for retirement. Here is the gap. People have a target, they just have no idea how to reach it. And more importantly, they have no idea whether the target is even the right number for their specific life. Because $1.46 million means something completely different depending on where you live, how you spend, what your health looks like, and whether you have debt. The number that actually matters is not a national average. It is your number, and your number comes from one calculation that most people have never done. Take your annual expenses, multiply by 25. That's it. That is the baseline. If you spend $40,000 a year, you need $1 million invested to sustain that spending indefinitely at a 4% withdrawal rate, the rate that historical data shows does not drain your principal over a 30-year retirement. If you spend $60,000 a year, you need $1.5 million. If you spend $80,000, you need $2 million. Simple math, rare knowledge. Linda spent roughly $52,000 a year. She needed $1.3 million. She had $420,000. That gap, $880,000, did not appear overnight. It accumulated quietly over 30 years of contributing what felt like enough without ever checking whether enough was actually enough. Nobody told her to run this calculation, so she never did, and by the time she did, the gap was too large to close. Here is something that should not be surprising, but somehow is. Only 45% of Americans know how to turn their retirement savings into retirement income. Think about that. More than half the people who have been saving for decades have no idea what to do with the money when it's time to actually use it. Saving and spending from savings are two completely different skills, and the financial industry spent 40 years teaching the first one while almost completely ignoring the second. Here is what the conversion problem actually looks like in real life. You retire with $600,000. You are 65. You need $4,500 a month to cover your expenses after Social Security. You have no idea how much to withdraw, when to withdraw, which accounts to pull from first, or how to make sure the money lasts as long as you do. So, you guess. You take out what you need. You do not account for taxes on traditional IRA withdrawals. You do not sequence your accounts correctly. You take from the wrong buckets in the wrong order. And, without realizing it, you accelerate the drain by 6 to 8 years. You did not run out of money because you saved too little. You run out because nobody taught you how to spend. The rule that changes this is called the bucket strategy, and it is simple enough to explain in 60 seconds. Bucket 1. 1 to 2 years of expenses in cash, accessible, never invested. This is your immediate income. It never gets touched by market movements. Bucket 2. 3 to 10 years of expenses in conservative investments, bonds, dividend stocks, things that grow slowly and do not swing wildly. Bucket 3. Everything else in long-term growth investments, index funds, equities, things that grow aggressively because you won't touch them for 10 or more years. When the market drops, and it will drop, you do not sell bucket 3 in a panic. You live off bucket 1. You refill bucket 1 from bucket 2 when it gets low. Bucket 3 grows untouched. The 34% of Americans who withdraw from investments during a market downturn are draining bucket 3 at exactly the wrong moment. They are locking in losses permanently. They are cutting years off their financial runway without knowing it. The bucket strategy is not complicated. It's just unknown because nobody teaches it. Let me bring Linda back for a moment, because Linda's story is not over, and this is the part most financial content never gets to. After that Tuesday at the kitchen table, after the fourth time running the numbers, after the cold coffee and the calculator and the quiet that followed the quiet, Linda did not spiral. She did not panic sell her investments. She did not call her kids and tell them to prepare. She called a fee-only financial planner for the first time in her life, and in 2 hours, she learned 3 things that changed the calculation completely. 3 things that nobody had ever explained to her in 38 years of working and saving and doing what she was told. Here is what she learned. The first thing Linda learned was about Social Security timing. Linda had started collecting at 63, the earliest possible age, $1,840 a month. What she did not know is that if she had waited until 70, 7 more years, her monthly benefit would have been $3,240 a month, every single month for the rest of her life. That's $1,400 more per month, $16,800 more per year. Over a 20-year retirement, that's $336,000 in additional income she left on the table by claiming 7 years too early. $336,000 from the same program, from the same government, just by waiting. Social Security is not a fixed number, it's a decision, and most people make it at the worst possible time. The rule is straightforward. If you are in reasonable health and can afford to wait, delay Social Security as long as possible. Every year you delay past 62 increases your benefit by roughly 6 to 8%. From 62 to 70 is an increase of up to 76% in your monthly check. Most people claim early because they are afraid the money won't be there, or because they need it immediately, or because nobody told them the math. You just heard the math. File it somewhere you won't forget it. The second thing Linda learned was about healthcare costs. She had budgeted $400 a month for medical expenses in retirement. It felt generous. It felt safe. The Schroders retirement study found that retirees are spending an average of 16% of their income on medical expenses. For Linda, at $52,000 a year, that's $8,320 annually, nearly $700 a month, almost double what she planned for. And here's the detail that makes it worse. Medicare covers less than most retirees thought it would. The survey found, this was a direct quote from respondents, Medicare covers less than they had thought. Dental, vision, hearing aids, long-term care, these are not covered or are severely limited. A single hearing aid can cost $3,000. A week in a nursing facility averages over $1,000. A serious health event in your late 70s can drain years of careful savings in months. Healthcare is the hidden variable in every retirement calculation. Most people get the number wrong by 30 to 50%. The fix, Linda learned, was a health savings account. If you are still working and have access to a high-deductible health plan, an HSA is the single most tax-efficient savings vehicle in the entire American financial system. Contributions are tax-deductible. Growth is tax-free. Withdrawals from medical expenses are tax-free. Triple tax advantage. And after 65, you can withdraw for any reason at all, making it function as a second retirement account. Linda couldn't go back and open one at 45 when it would have mattered most, but you might still have time. The question is whether you will act on this before you are sitting at a kitchen table with a cold cup of coffee and a calculator that won't give you the answer you want. The third thing Linda learned was the one that hit hardest. She had not accounted for inflation. Not really, not in any number she had run. When Linda retired at 63, $52,000 a year felt comfortable. It covered everything with a little left over. But $52,000 in the year she retired does not buy the same things 8 years later. Inflation does not stop when you stop working. It does not care that you are on a fixed income. It does not pause for retirees. At a modest 3% annual inflation rate, $52,000 of expenses today becomes $67,900 in 10 years, becomes $88,600 in 20 years. The same life, the same house, the same habits cost 70% more 2 decades later. And Linda's Social Security, her fixed income anchor, had a cost of living adjustment last year of 2.8%, below the actual inflation rate, meaning her purchasing power dropped even as her check technically went up. This is why 90% of retirees say inflation is their number one fear. not because they do not understand it, because they feel it every single month in a way that working people are partly insulated from. The protection against inflation is not complicated. It is keeping a meaningful portion of your retirement assets in equities, stocks, index funds, even after you retire. The instinct to move everything into bonds and cash when you retire feels safe. It's actually slow financial erosion. A 65-year-old today has a statistical life expectancy approaching 87. That is a 22-year retirement. Your portfolio needs to grow over those 22 years, or inflation will quietly consume it from the outside, while you watch the balance and think everything is fine. The bucket strategy handles this automatically. Bucket 3 stays in equities. Bucket 3 keeps growing. Bucket 3 is your inflation hedge, whether you call it that or not. After 2 hours with that planner, Linda's number had not changed. She still had $420,000. The gap was still real. The math was still hard. But something else had changed. Something else had changed. She had a plan. For the first time in 38 years of working and saving and arriving at retirement and running the numbers alone at a kitchen table at night, she had a written plan with specific numbers, specific decisions, and a specific sequence. She restructured her Social Security approach for her husband who had not yet claimed. She opened a different account structure for her remaining assets. She adjusted her spending in 3 specific categories that the planner identified as higher than necessary. The new projections said her money would last until 91, 4 years past her life expectancy. Nothing changed except the knowledge, and the knowledge changed everything. 67% of Americans fear running out of money more than they fear dying. And the reason that number is so high, the reason it has climbed 10 points in 4 years, is not because Americans are getting worse with money. It's because the system changed and the education never caught up. The pension disappeared. The 401k arrived without instructions. Nobody taught Social Security timing. Nobody explained the bucket strategy. Nobody ran the healthcare numbers. Nobody modeled inflation across a 20-year retirement. And so people saved. They did what they were told. They put money away and hoped that hope was a strategy. It is not a strategy. Hope is a feeling. A plan is a document. And the single most powerful thing that separates people who retire with security from people who retire with fear is whether they have one. You do not need a financial planner to start. You need 4 numbers. Your annual expenses multiplied by 25, that is your target. Your current savings subtracted from your target, that is your gap. Your monthly contribution projected forward at 8%, that is your timeline. Run those numbers today, not this weekend, not when things settle down, today, because the gap does not close while you are thinking about closing it. Linda sat at that kitchen table for 4 nights before she made the call. 4 nights of fear that a 2-hour conversation mostly resolved. The call was free. The planner charged by the hour. The total cost was $280. $400,000 of runway recovered for $280, and the decision to stop sitting with the fear and start sitting with the numbers. The fear is not going to go away on its own. It never does. It just gets louder the longer you leave it alone in the dark. Turn the light on. If this video helped you see something you had not seen before, drop in the comments. What is the one retirement gap you've been avoiding looking at? No judgment, just honesty. Because you just heard Linda's, yours deserves the same light. Subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.